Yes, I'm going to continue on with the gaming. The gaming is no longer a portfolio but labeled as a file. But there's lots of events that are taking place with the new Mohawk Online initiative and looking at regulations in different areas. We're getting proposals all the time, people looking at different gaming ventures. So it is going to be busy. And then with the tobacco, we have some court challenges that are happening, constitutional challenges that will affect all of the industry and First Nations. So we're paying close attention to that, not only at MCK, but at the caucus level. I'm on the economic development portfolio. There's a lot of work to be done there. The needs of the community are changing. I think a review of the law needs to happen. What are today's needs? What are the expectations of community members?
What do you think of some of the changes that have happened this time around?
Well, personally, I would have preferred that the way they were distributed was the same, and then the changes were implemented along the way. It would have made it a lot easier for everybody. But, we'll roll with it, and it's just different labeling, but the same work is going to continue on.
First of all, it's a relief to not have as many portfolio files as I had last time, because that was really a load. And I've kept some of the major ones, but I've let one major one go, and that was the health file, and that's gone over to Billy. And I'm very pleased about that. We're just exchanging documents right now. So what I've got remains from before, and that's justice. And you know that justice has now headed into another stage where we're looking at a sectoral agreement in terms of what is actually going to transpire between Kahnawake and the outside governments in terms of knowing the kind of points we wanted to make in terms of our negotiations.
And recognition.
And recognition is what we're looking for. And we have certain concerns, and we want to make sure that we achieve what we set out to achieve. Mm-hmm. And we've got certain principles that we're operating on. You know, there's fairness, equality, those things between Quebec and Kahnawake. So that's a good thing.
You also have a portfolio that you were working on, but has a new name and encompasses different things. Talk about that.
Consultation? Consultation started out being Clinton's file, and he asked me to help him out on that, and then it ended up being Mammoth. Mammoth because it involves things starting with species at risk. You can have worms, you can have bats.
I don't have worms.
But the kinds of subjects that consultation encompasses can be from the lowliest items all the way to trees and the river, and then to the bridge crossing the river at Champlain, the Champlain Bridge. And then what that led into, if you recall last summer, that was the issue with they needed a permit because that Nuns Island had on it an archaeological site, a significant one that had human remains. And so in order for them to get the permit, they had to get permission. In order to get permission, we demanded certain things, and we achieved those things. We're still working on one of those items, and that happens to be the museum. We want them to contribute somehow, support us somehow, so that this community can get the museum that we so need and deserve for the education of our kids, for the education of our community.
The health portfolio, I think, is going to be really interesting. It's something that I've been really curious about and I guess really interested in for quite some time now, because of a few aspects that's really dear to my heart, and it's like with my family a lot of it too, so it helps. I mean, I've been reading, and it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I was really surprised when I started to follow it, and the people that I've been working with so far that I've been meeting with on the thing, it's going to be really exciting to get working on this. I'm tied still in with Joe Roda Committee. I am the chairman of the board. Unfortunately, I haven't been for the last meeting. I was away hunting, but I am looking forward, and it's exciting to work on that also. And again, all the people involved with that is something else on that part. I really like that. There's a few other things that I'm working with. And again, like I had said before, a lot of little fires and all that other stuff that are still there. They're still burning. They still need to be put out, and that's where I'm going. I've got again, a lot of people coming to me on any situation, and it's interesting, and I love it. Yeah.
Some of the plans that we're doing with the lands portfolio. The lands portfolio is really a huge, huge file when you look at the entire file in itself. You know, I am the lead on the lands. As a result of that, I've inherited the land allotment file, land management file. I'm chairs on both of those tables. I'm also on the Jorodu committee because of Jorodu being Kahnawake lands. I kind of took a back seat the last term in regards to Jorodu, but I will be taking a more active role in that file as well. I will be on the Senior Sault Ste. Louis land claim grievance. Again, I was on it on my first term in council, and we kind of downsized the table last term. But because, again, it's Kahnawake lands, I'm back on the senior table, and I'm very happy with that. The lead is Chief Christine Zachary Diome, and it's kind of like a succession planning type of a thing that we're looking at, ensuring that corporate memory and knowledge is shared, you know, and made available to other people who may want or pick up the file afterwards. The Canada-Kahnawake Relations team is a table that was struck 3 years ago with the federal government to discuss issues of lands and membership. We have two separate sectoral tables consisting of the membership file and the lands issues. Luckily, last term I was able to gain valuable experience and knowledge of the file and how to conduct the table from former Chief Lloyd Phillips. So I have no problem. I'm very confident moving into this term and taking the lead on that file. There's a lot of issues of land problems within Kahnawake, which are kind of unique to us, to our location on the map. And I think the table itself is a good way to showcase the problems that we have, that we face on an everyday basis, and try to come to a common resolve with the federal government. I'm very much in charge of the environment file as well. In my mind anyways, but I'm sure in other people as well. I have done a lot of work with them. I think it's a department that is really necessary within not just MCK, but the people of Kahnawake have come to appreciate, over the last 25 years, the work of Kipo and the work of Eva Johnson. And that work has to continue. I don't think anybody wants us to go backwards in time. We need to ensure that Kahnawake, whether it be Kahnawake proper or Jorodu, is as clean as we can possibly keep it for the future generations. I don't think you'll have an argument from anybody in our community who wants to say, bring in contaminated soil, bring in garbage, bring in all this stuff, destroy the nature of Jorodu. I don't think anybody would say that, and I know certainly I'm not.
I'm glad I got the majority of the portfolios I had last term, minus the police portfolio. There was other interest at the table, and I decided to allow the other council chiefs who had interest to get involved with that file. But more importantly, I got involved with lands, sports and recreation, as well as Kahnawake. Those are one of my main files or projects, if you want to call it. As well as I want to be involved with the Champlain Bridge project and the train station, hopefully to bring one to the community. My goals really for this term is to make sure that we get the set-asides that are promised in relation to the Champlain Bridge project, and I want to make sure we get as many men and women from the community to take part in that project right from start to finish. As well as, like I mentioned earlier, it'd be nice to get a train station here in our community. They're already passing through our community. Why not stop and make it available for especially our younger generation that are going to school, as well as our elders who need another alternate route over the river.